everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be doing another episode of World in Flames Collector's Edition, Days of Decision 3, Combined Game Playthrough number 2. This is going to be the March-April 1942 turn. And last turn we saw a turn that was, the weather was just, I think it was probably pretty close to what the winter of 41-42 for the actual Russian front was, because the weather was just blizzards almost the whole turn. It was actually pretty interesting. I hadn't seen that before. But okay, so let's get started with starting money for the major powers. Starting money for the major powers this turn, we're looking at Germany at 0, Japan at 0, Italy at -1, the Soviets at 0, the Commonwealth at -3, the US at -1, China at 0, and the Free French are at a -13. Now I've put in the bids for the major powers, and let's take a look at that. So what we have is we have the Commonwealth bidding 1. Now the Commonwealth is getting bonus bid points from last turn because they didn't get a political option. The United States is bidding 5, but they're going for 2 options. Very expensive bid, but they want to get it done, and I'll show you a reason why. Germany's bidding 1, the Soviets are bidding 1, the Japanese are bidding 1, and China is bidding 1, and China is, can't quite see it, China is also getting bonus bid points from last turn because they did not get a political option either. So let's take a look, see how this is going to shake out. We'll lay it at a political track. Alright, we have the Commonwealth bidding 1, they're getting 7 bonus bid points, political effectiveness, bonus bid points, and 1 for their current position, 6, is going to give them a total of 9. That is definitely putting them in first. The US is bidding 5. They're getting 4 for their current first place position. That's a total of 9. However, they're going for 2 options, so it's divided by 2. That's 4.5. That's enough to give them, it's rounded to 5. That's enough to give them second. Germany's bidding 1. They're getting 3 for their current position. The Soviets are also bidding 1. They're getting 3 for their current position. That's 4. So the tie will be broken by political effectiveness, and both Germany and the Soviet Union are on 6. So the tie will be broken by current order. So the Germans will be 3rd. The Soviets will be 4th. Then we have Japan and China both bidding 1. Japan's bidding 1, they're getting a +2 for the 5th place position, that's 3. China's bidding 1, they're getting 1 for their 7th, +1 for their bonus bid point. Their political effectiveness is a 1. So that's 3, so they're tied. So the tie will be broken by political effectiveness, and you have Japan at 4, China at 1, so Japan breaks that tie. The Chinese will be 6. The last card will be here at the Commonwealth, and the last one will be on China. See if China gets lucky and gets to do a political option this turn. Now the non-bidding major powers, we have the Italians at a +2, that's going to give them 7th, and the Free French at 0, that'll put them in last. Alright, let's go take a look and see what the Commonwealth wants to do. Pretty sure I know what it is. The Commonwealth is going to gear up. They didn't get to do it last turn. They were kind of angry about that. So, that's what they're going to do. I'm going to gear up. I got a few minor influence markers to put out, and the US entry is going to be a +4. And I'll come right back with the Commonwealth activating a minor. Okay, it's time for the Commonwealth to activate a minor, and they're going to activate Portugal. So we'll come over here to the status display. I will grab the 2 markers. And we got -2 for Japan and a +2 for Italy, but there is no actual Commonwealth influence, but that's okay. Here's the Portugal marker right here. So the Commonwealth will activate the Italian one first. Now the Portuguese have a alliance with the Commonwealth. And what that does is it makes moving away from the Commonwealth political marker here, it costs an extra 1. So these would normally cost 2 for either of these 2 hexes. It's going to cost 3 because of that alliance. So the Italian marker doesn't actually, the Italian influence doesn't actually move the marker. However, the Japanese one, we have a -2. Now that's going to push the marker this way. So we will move the Portuguese to here, and they will be in the same hex as Saudi Arabia. And the Commonwealth is okay with that, because if they can actually get Portugal stacked with the Commonwealth, then the Commonwealth can align Portugal. Okay, so that's the end of the Commonwealth's political turn. We'll move the marker down to the U.S. We do not roll to end the political phase because there's a +1 to the die. So let's go take a look and see what the United States wants to do. Okay, the U.S. Just a note that the U.S. picked up the tab for Britain's political options. And before we do the U.S., I want to briefly go over what U.S. entry was at the end of last turn, because this is going to affect what the U.S. can do. Now, Germany's U.S. entry was 70.5, which is 71. Japan's was 41.5, and Italy is 13.5. What that does is that gives the U.S. the option of doing a couple of different U.S. entry options. So, in this case, the U.S. is going to pick, for their first option, they're going to pick the Fleet the Pearl. So, Japan's U.S. entry is greater than 35, and Japan is at war with the Democrat major power. So, they do meet all the prerequisites for that. Let's see, zoomed in on that a little bit. There's the Fleet the Pearl. The cost for this is going to be 1 money. Oh, and the U.S. entry is calculated at the end of last turn. So the gear up for that Great Britain the Commonwealth just did is not going to affect the totals until the end of this turn. So there's a bunch of minor entry here. The U.S. entry for this is going to be 0. The cost will be 1 money. So I will put all this out, and then I'll come back with the U.S. Activating a minor, and then we'll see if the U.S. will get to do a second political option. Okay, the U.S. is going to activate Spain, and what that does is that just basically blows off this marker. We don't even have to go over to the political display. We'll come back over here. I wanted to discuss a little bit about what this Fleet the Pearl actually entails. What it does is it activates in the WiFCE rules U.S. entry options number 1, 13, and 26. So entry option number 1 is Chinese build aircraft. So this allows China to build more than the 1 aircraft that they normally are limited to building. Option 13 is going to be embargo on strategic materials. The U.S. only convoys 3 resources, 2 of which are oil, to Japan per turn instead of 4. Japan no longer needs to supply the U.S. with a build point. I don't know if that's actually better for Japan or for the U.S. And number 26. And 26 is relocate Fleet the Pearl. Okay, this basically the U.S. sends the Pacific Fleet the Pearl, and it is comprised of 2 U.S. CVs with a air complement of 4 and 8 battleships. And that is basically what Fleet the Pearl does. And that is the end of that. We will roll to see if the U.S. ends the political phase. Let's see what they get here. An 8 does not end the political phase. So now the U.S. will get to do their second political option. And what they're going to do is they're going to do naval patrol, because the U.S. has already played option number 9. That's this one. And Germany plus Italy's entry is greater than 65, or Germany's is greater than 60, while Germany's at 70. And I think the declaration of war threshold is 80, I believe. So this actually, what this does is there's 3 more options that allows the U.S. to use now. And that's options 25, options 29, and options 38. And those are, geez, I keep losing that page. Okay, options 25 is repair Western Allied ships. After you choose this option, the U.S. may repair Commonwealth and French naval units. Option 29 is North Atlantic escorts. So now the U.S. can put up to 5 CVs or surface combat ships in the 0 section of the North Atlantic Sea area. Okay, there's no U.S. entry for the combat itself, so they may participate in combat. And the final one is 38, and 38 is armed merchants. After you choose this option, and while neutral, up to 5 U.S. CVs or surface combat units in the 0 section of any sea area may take part in combat round which Allied convoys are included. So basically, it allows the U.S. to put convoy escorts in any sea box, 0 sea box in any sea area. So that will be very helpful to the Commonwealth, to say the least. That's it for that. Okay, I think the U.S. also gets to. Oh, I got to put out the minor effects, and U.S. entry is going to be 0, and I'll come back with the U.S. activating a minor for this option. Now the U.S. will get to activate a minor, and they're going to pick Mexico. We'll come over here to the status display. I'll grab the markers in Mexico. Looking at a 1 for Germany, a 1 for Japan, and I just moved that, and a 2 for the U.S. Now, Mexico is actually hostile to the U.S. It's a hostile minor to the U.S. So the U.S. can't control Mexico under normal circumstances, but she knows that the Commonwealth can. So we can drag it down to the Commonwealth. Commonwealth can sign an alliance with Mexico and get Mexico into the war on the Allied side. So these 1 points for Germany and Japan are not going to do anything, but the 2 for the U.S. will. It will move the Mexicans either here or here. I guess it doesn't make any difference. I'll put it here. Now we'll put it here. I don't want the Soviets getting a hold of it. Okay, so now the next thing the U.S. is going to do, they need to roll to see if they end the political phase. Oh, they rolled a 4. Can't see that right up there. So the political marker, last card marker will move down to Germany, and we'll see what Germany wants to do. Back over here, and the Germans are going to build a synthetic oil plant. There's no U.S. entry, and then there's no activating a minor for that. The cost is on the counter. So I will dig the counter out, have Germany pay the cost for that, and when I come back, we'll have Germany roll to see if they end the political phase, and if not, we'll move on to the Soviet Union. All right, let's roll to see if Germany ends the political phase. We have a -2. There have been 3 previous political options chosen. So that's a -3 to the die, but we have +1 for 4 to 6 major powers at war, and Germany rolled a 5, so the political phase will continue. We will move down to the Soviets, and let's see what the Soviets... Oh, the Soviets, they've decided they're going to build a factory. So it's going to cost them 8 money for that, and take 4 turns, but they feel that an extra factory might be what they need in 43. So they're going to bite the bullet and get it done this turn. They also need to be looking at potentially signing a level 2 treaty with the U.S. here in the near future as well. So I will take care of that. There will be no U.S. entry for this, and there will be no activating a minor either. And I'll come back with their die roll to see if they end the political phase. Okay, let's see if the Soviets end the political phase. Yeah, I rolled an 8, so that does not end the political phase. And we will move on down to Japan. Let's see what Japan wants to do. I think Japan is doing the same thing. I think they're building a factory as well. So there's no U.S. entry for this. The cost is going to be 8 build points and take 4 turns. And so I will pay that for Japan. And when I come back, we'll roll to see if Japan ends the political phase, because there's no activating a minor for this 0 option. Okay, the last thing for Japan to do is roll to see if they end the political phase and screw the Chinese over. Let's see what happens. Oh, and actually they did end the political phase because they rolled a 3. So I will go and record the bonus bid points for China. I guess they basically got gypped again. I mean, I don't know. So I will do that, and then we'll come right back. We're going to roll initiative, roll weather, and then take a look at reinforcements. Okay, initiative. Before we roll initiative, let's take a look at the modifiers. The current, excuse me. The current modifiers as of this turn are -1 for the Democrats. That's a -1. That's a +1 for the Soviets, and it's a +2 for the fascists. So let's come up here. The order last turn was Democrat, Communist, Fascist. So let's grab the dice. See what we get. No, that's a different roll. Alright, so we got a 9 for the Communists, which is going to be a 10. A 7 for the Fascists, which is going to be a 9, and a 6 for the Democrats, which is going to be a 5. Taking a look at the weather chart, we have a +3 to the weather roll, so the very worst weather, or best in the case of this, well actually it's a bit worst either because it's storm for them, it's general mud. Any roll of a 5 or more could be disaster on the Eastern Front. So I think there's no chance of blizzard or snow. I think the Communists want to go first. So I think they're going to go first. Then it's up to the Fascists to decide. Do they want to go between the Communists and the Democrats? They want to go before the Democrats? I think they do. They got some plans in their mind this turn. I think they do. I think they're going to go before the Democrats, and the Democrats are going to go last. So the order is going to look something like this. Let's go back here. We're going to have the Communists going first, the Fascists going second, and the Democrats going last. So it's the Communists, Fascists, and Democrats. Now, we have the all-important weather roll. I grabbed the weather chart right here. There's going to be a +3 to this roll. Let's roll it and see what we get. Oh my gosh. Can you see that? That's a 1. They rolled a 1. Also, 1 + 3 is 4. So actually the Communists, that wasn't a bad idea for them, because 1 + 3 is 4. They're going to have snow in the Arctic. And so we're going to have snow in the Arctic, storm in North Temperate, rain in the Mediterranean. Storm in North Temperate, rain in the Mediterranean. And then we got, I'm the wrong one. We got fair in North Monsoon, storm in South Monsoon, and rain in South Temperate. Where's my other rain marker? Oh, there it is. Okay. And let's see. That's going to be no addition to the weather roll for next turn. However, the impulse marker will move up 3. So that's definitely going to shorten this turn. And the Soviets are all for that. The shorter turn, the better. So we're going to go take a look at reinforcements. I've already sorted them. Those are the stacks. So come over here, take a look at what's basically going to be coming in. Let's zoom out. There we go. All right, so I'll do this anyways. All right, so this big stack here is all ships going in the construction pool if I don't knock it over. So I'm just going to bump them over there, and I'll give you a description of what we have. We got a Commonwealth, looks like a light cruiser. We have a American, CVL. That'll be useful for them, especially with the recent additions of their political options. We have the Battleship Indiana. We have the carrier Essex, just in time. We have the heavy cruiser Houston. It says Houston 2, but I think the Houston 1's still on the board. And the Japanese have 3 ships. They have a transport, a light cruiser, and a light carrier. So a few ships going in the construction pool. We got the Germans here. We got another 5 offensive points. They are useful. The Germans have 3 infantry corps, a pilot, a twin-engine bomber, and a Swedish headquarters. Probably all that's going on the board. The Italians have a carrier and a marine division. And the Americans have a B-17. I think that is a, first B-17 built. They have a couple there. They have a bunch of aircraft. They have a Boston. They have a Boston 3A. They have a sub and a fighter, a Kitty Hawk, which can be lend-leased, which is likely. The Japanese have a tanker point, a convoy point, a really good 0 combat air group, another good 0 combat air group, a +1 fortress, a bicycle division, a mechanized corps, unusual, and an infantry division. The British, or Commonwealth, I keep calling them British, but in the game they're called the Commonwealth, have 3 convoy points, a ton of territorials. New Zealand, India, Australia, another one for India, a fighter, a infantry corps for India. The fighter is a Spitfire 5C. The Chinese get a 3-hex fortress. I'm pretty sure I know where that's going. And the Russians get a whole ton of infantry armies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 infantry armies, a militia army, a cav corps, a cav division, and the headquarters Timoshenko. So I will get these guys on the map, and then we will come back with the first impulse, which will be the Soviets. Okay, I have finished the Soviets movement impulse, or movement for this impulse. They're doing a land. I paid for it with the oil. Okay, so they have a potential for a couple of attacks. The first thing they want to do is a ground strike right here. And that's going to be halved because of the snow. It's a 3 points, which makes it 1.5, which rounds to 2. So there are 2 German units here. I'll dig them out. We have a 4-2 artillery and an 8-6 armor. So we're going to go red for the artillery and green for the armor. We're looking for 2s. Well, a 10 and a 6 don't do it. All right. Put those back. He's got to fly home. Soviets would be just fine if the weather stayed snow the whole turn up here in the Arctic. All right, we have a 4-1. Now, do I use HQ benefits? I think we're going to have to, because this is going to end up on the... We have armor there. I think that's the only armor there is. Yes, it is the only armor. Yeah, so we're going to have to use HQ benefits. It's going to be on the assault table. It's going to be a 4-1 plus 1. This could go badly. This could go badly. 4-1 plus 1. Assault. Yeah, it could go badly. It's alright. Sometimes the Russians got to take some chances here. 4-1 plus 1. Well, a 10 is not badly. 10 is star 2S, or it's actually an 11 with star 2S. So the 2 German units are destroyed. There is no headquarters anyways around these guys, so they are toast. That's a big loss. That's an armored corps and an artillery division for the Germans that was just destroyed. Let's see. I think we will occupy the hex. I think we'll leave that 9-4 right there. For now, I think that's good. And we have a second attack. Again, the Soviets are lacking armor. So this is going to be in the assault table. I did have a possibility of throwing in ground support in case anybody was noticing here. It would have been 1 point. It would have made it 13. But the Soviets have fighters over here, could have reached it, and it's likely that unit would have got mauled. So I'd rather save the unit than just have it killed. And that die roll wouldn't have mattered anyways. We have a 6-1 here. This is on the assault table, and more than half are winterized, just like the last attack. Oh, and I'm going to get to promote one of these units to a guards unit as soon as I finish this combat. Okay, 6-1, that downgrades to a 5-1. Well, I have no chance to do any plussing with this because there's no headquarters, so 5-1. 5-1 straight up on the assault table. And again, another awesome roll for the Soviets, a 9, is star 2S. Let's see. Russian offensive is actually gaining some strength here. No units have flipped over, so I think we will indeed occupy the hex. We are making progress. If we could keep getting snow up here, we could actually weaken the German line significantly. All right, I'll show you down here in the south. All the Soviets did was move some units around because down here it's storm. So very bad weather. Don't want to do too much down there. Don't want to end up with units flipped over. Well, I think that does it for the Soviet impulse. I'll move on to the fascist impulse. I got to see what they want to do, and when I decide, come up with an idea what both the Germans and the Japanese and Italians want to do, I'll come back and I'll let you know. So the Japanese did a naval. I don't know what they're planning. It's not really good weather down there, but who knows? The Italians come over here to the med. The Italians did a combined. They just moved a few units because they can't move very many on a combined. And it's rain. What is it? It's rain down in the med, and the hexes that they can attack are clear hexes down here and by the Suez. So that's all rain. This is the only one they can really get to that's not rain, and they only have a 1 hex attack. So they're not doing too much this turn. And the Germans, well, they try to basically reinforce their line a little bit. Line's kind of looking kind of weird, but that's the way it goes. It's snow on the Russian front, and that's what happens. They took a pretty good pound in that turn. An artillery division and an armored corps and a mountain corps, that's expensive. Alright, so let's go over here. The Germans also paid a offensive point to do one naval impulse, or one naval move. And they got all their subs over here, so they're going to try to do a sub action. Let's see what happens. It's snowing, so no, nothing. They're not going to get anything with that. But that does cost them a flip sub. So I will flip one of these, probably that one. And that's the end of that. And now we will move on to the Democrats' impulse, and I'll do their movement. I don't know if there will be any combat because they're saddled with the same weather problems as the fascists are. So I'll be back in a second with a review of what the Democrats did. Okay, for the Democrats, we have the British Navy coming out to play and getting their convoy protection out everywhere. The nationalist Chinese didn't do anything. The U.S. sent some surface combat and some carriers into the Atlantic to help with the British there, and sent a Lend-Lease mission to Murmansk. The Germans ought to put something on there. I can't really do that. Yeah, I don't know. The nationalist Chinese, they didn't do too much. They're kind of happy with the way they are right now. And the Free French just moved de Gaulle up a little bit. Moved de Gaulle up 2-4. He's just getting up towards Baghdad. That's about it. I think that was it for the Democrats. I don't really think they did much else. Oh, the British shifted the fleet out of Singapore, the Commonwealth. Keep calling them the British. So if I say British, it's actually Commonwealth. Anyways, they moved them over here to Ceylon. And I think that was about it. We got some air power moving down into the Med. And I think that's all we have. I think we will move on to the Soviet turn and the all-critical weather roll. All right, let's do weather. This is already the 10th impulse. This is how turns get done fast. Okay, let's roll weather. Let's see what happens. We have a +3. No, we have no plus to the weather roll, so that shouldn't even be there. Rolled a 4 last time. So this is just a straight up weather roll. Oh, jeez. 2. A 2 is even worse weather. Wow. There's going to be a +1 to the weather roll for next turn. Well, the Soviets are loving this. Let's see what they have. They have blizzard in the Arctic, snow in North Temperate, storm in the Mediterranean, rain in North Monsoon. Oh, I don't think the Japanese are too happy with this. And storm in South Monsoon and storm in South Temperate. So the weather went from bad to really worse. And that will be, and the impulse marker moves up 3. This turn is going to go fast. And that's really not good for the Germans. So I'm going to do the Soviets movement impulse. And then I'll come back and we'll execute any combats they may or may not have. Okay, so the Soviets didn't actually get any attacks in this turn. But their line is looking much, much better right now. And it's looking, the line around Moscow is looking pretty thick right now. They got some good size hexes in there. There's still a few weak ones, but it's still early 42. So down in the south, well, that's another question. But I had a couple of opportunities to make 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 attacks. And just looking at the combat table, I really don't want to risk it with the Soviets, because if it goes bad for them, they can't afford it. I mean, I don't want to open a hole in the line just so that the Germans can blitz through it without actually having to make an attack. So that was the end of the Soviet impulse, and the Communist Chinese also didn't do anything. So we will move on to the fascists, and we'll see what they want to do in this nice weather we have. Okay, Italy basically didn't do much of anything. Storm in the Med means rain or storm, depending on what hex you're in. The same applies to the Japanese. They're stuck where they are right now until the weather gets better. But the Germans, we got a little potential naval action over here, or sub-action over here in the North Atlantic. And they came out to play here in the Bay of Biscay. So we got 2 rolls to do. We got 2 search rolls. First one is going to be for the North Atlantic. Let's see what we get. These guys are dead. Put them over there. 6 and Commonwealth rolled a 9, so there's going to be nothing in the North Atlantic. Now let's see what we get in the jeez, I can't remember anything sometimes. The Bay of Biscay. All right, let's roll a dice and see what we get there. Let me grab the dice. All right, here we go. Oh, where'd they go? Where'd they go? Oh, okay, that's not too bad a roll. Let's see, we got a 1. We got a 1 for the fascists, and a 9 for the poor, disillusioned royal fleet. Okay, I gotta figure this out, because we got a whole bunch of stuff in that sea area, and I'll come back and see what we're gonna do. Okay, Germany's decided to do an air to sea. I don't know how this is going to turn out, so we're just going to go with it, I guess. First thing up is we do naval air combat, and because we have a couple fighters on either side, so the first ones up that roll are going to be the Commonwealth, and we're going to be rolling at -4, 7.4 minus 3 is minus 4.6, 3.6, which is going to be -4. -4 plus 4, which is not very good, but they'll roll it. -4, and they roll a 13. 13 is attacker clears through. Let's see, attacker clears through any 1 defending bomber. So they're going to clear through. They're all the same. We'll clear through this guy. So he's going to make the bomb run. Now the Germans roll. They roll a 6, which is a really good roll. The +4 chart, a 6 is DX. Defender, DX. A 6 on a +4. I'm sorry. Yeah, DX. Defender destroys own front fighter or front bomber. Oh, well, they're going to have to take a bomber, I guess. But they'll get the pilot back for that anyways. Then we go to round 2. We'll roll for the Commonwealth. Oh, wow. I can't roll anything. 12. Defender clears through any 1 bomber. And we'll clear through this guy. And then the Germans will roll. Oh, God. Wow. One side rolls great. The other side rolls like total garbage. Roll the 5. That's attacker destroys. Attacker destroys defender's front fighter or front bomber. Well, we're going to destroy the front fighter, because we'd rather have our fighters shooting at their bombers. Now, the Commonwealth's got to decide, are they really going to do this? Looking at +5, -5. No, yeah, +5, -5. You think they can get lucky? +5, -5. You got to roll like 18 or more, or got to roll 6 or less, or 18 or more. 6 or less, or 18 or more. That's like a 12. You're gonna have like 10. Oh, yeah. I don't think we're gonna. I think the Commonwealth is gonna abort rather than keep losing planes, because they're just gonna get slaughtered. So they're gonna fly back to their carriers, and the German bombers will get a chance to go at the Commonwealth's fleet. All right, I'll be right back with that. Okay, the Germans will shift the Commonwealth down 1 on the anti-aircraft table. So that's going to be the lowest 2 out of 4. We roll 4 dice, and it's the lowest 2. Add them up, and then we find out what the what it affects. The lowest 2 are a 2 and a 3. That's 5 points. So anti-aircraft, 5 points. Destroy 1 CVP or abort 1 other bomber. Wow. 1 CVP. They're all 2s. So I think I'm going to abort one of these bombers. I think I'll abort this guy. And everything else presses its attack. Now we got 5 shifts with this. So we have a total of 3, 5, 6, 7, 10 air to sea factors. And he has 36 ships, I think. Do a count real quick here. That's 6. That's 13. 23. 26. 31. 31 ships. So 30 plus ships. 10 air to sea factors. And we're going to shift over 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be 5 sunk and 1 damaged. So 5 sunk and 1 damaged. Wow, that's pretty kick butt right there. Pretty kick butt. Alright, now we got to decide. I think the Germans will pick first, and they're going to pick the Ark Royal. We're going to sink the Ark Royal. Well, we're going to try. So the Commonwealth has to roll better than a 5 to save it. And a 9 does not. The Ark Royal sinks. Now it's the Commonwealth's turn to pick one. They're going to pick a light cruiser because, hey, you know what? They're easy to rebuild. So that's 9 or 10 will save that from being sunk. Nope, he goes down. Now the Germans pick another one. I think they're going to go after the Furious for a sunk. And the British will get the roll to save that. And nope, he goes down. Got to roll better than a 7. The British will pick this. Let's pick a battleship. Maybe they can take it a little better. Maybe we'll get... Oh, okay. We'll try the Nelson. We only have to roll better than a 2 to keep it from getting sunk, sunk, sunk. Okay. Don't roll a 1. Okay, it's just damaged. So that's the 4th one. And the Germans will pick the Nelson, because they know whatever it rolls is going to be at least a damage. 2 damages is a sunk. It's sunk. And the last ship will be a damaged. That's picked by the Commonwealth, and they're going to pick the Aurora. That's an 8. And it is indeed damaged. It will go to the repair pool. And that is the end of round one. Now we have to decide if anybody wants to abort. I think the air power's toast. I think the Commonwealth would probably really enjoy getting into a surface action with the Germans. I think they would come out on top. They certainly have more battleships and heavy cruisers. But the problem is, if we roll really bad, then you could get smoked. We're going to try it. All right, we're going to go for round two. Let's see what we get for search dice. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I got to go pick up a stack because I just scattered it. But the roll is 2 6s. 6 and 6. Yeah. That's all supposed to be in the central mid. All right. 6 and 6. Okay, so for the Commonwealth, there's actually a 7 and a 7. So for the Commonwealth, they need a 5, and the Germans also need a 5. So, nope. That's the end of that action right there. And I think that's the end of the fascist turn. We will move on to the Democrats. See what they want to do. Okay, for the Democrats, the Americans didn't do anything. Yeah, they didn't do anything. Actually, they sent a transport out to Hawaii with a fighter on it. And that is about the end of that. The Commonwealth, however, sent the fleet based in Gibraltar up to the Bay of Biscay, and they're going to try to get into a roundabout with the Germans. So we're going to roll some search dice and see what happens. See if I can get these to stay. Oh, there we go. A 1 and a 5. So the Commonwealth did indeed find the Germans, I think. Let's see, no, that's a 2 and a 6, yes. So they did find the Germans. I got to figure this out. Let's see what we're going to see. Okay, I worked out 9 surprise points for the Commonwealth. The problem they have is, in order to get surface combat, they have to spend 4 surprise points, which is only going to leave them with 5 left, which would be 2 column shifts one way or the other. I don't really know if that's good enough for what they want to do here. They do have a whole bunch of planes. They still have 5 aircraft. They would like to get to those German carriers. The problem is that the Germans have some pretty good fighters. Well, let's see. Well, actually, no, they don't. Yeah, actually, they're going to go for that. And they're not going to go for the stuff that's in the 1 box, which is the German, or the 2 box rather, which is the German Focke-Wulf. So they're going to engage all the forces that are in the 3 box, which I believe is the 2 carrier planes and the 2 flying boats, but not the Condor. Okay, so that's actually a little better. Okay, so we'll put out our bomber streams, and they'll put out their bomber and fighter streams. I think they're going to go with these 2 as fighters. And the rest is bombers. And we're going to spend 4 surprise points to add 2 to that. That gives me a 4. So it's going to be 4.3 versus 4.2, which is going to be on the 0 column. This is much better for the Commonwealth. Much, much better. So the first to roll. First up to roll is going to be the Commonwealth. I mean the Germans, I'm sorry, because they're the defender. So the Germans will roll first on the 0 column. And they get, oh God, can they roll any better? I got a 17. 17 is Defenders Destroyed. Defender destroys own front fighter or bomber. Oh my god. I think we'll go with a front fighter. Much as I don't want to, and that's going to kill the pilot. So he is dead. These two pilots will be credited, the other two. Now the Commonwealth rolls. Well, they finally rolled some dice. 6. On the 0, a 6 is AA. Attacker aborts defender's front fighter or front bomber. We're going to abort their front fighter. So he goes away. He's actually toast now. And let's see. Now it's going to be +1, -1. No, I think that's only one round. I got to check that. Now it's the whole naval air combat. So now we go to the Germans will roll again. This time, however, they're rolling on the -1 column. And they roll a 16. 16 on the -1 column is going to get attacker aborts. Attacker aborts defenders own defender's front fighter or front bomber. Well, I think we'll abort his front fighter. Now the Commonwealth rolls. They will finally roll a 19. Attacker killed. Attacker destroys defender's front fighter or front bomber. They're going to destroy my front bomber. Because that's a float plane. That's a lot. And that kills the pilot. So them two pilots are dead. And let's see. I guess it's time for the Germans to roll. Now they're going to be rolling on the +2 column against the no, it's going to be straight up because they have a +2 for surprise. That is a 15 on the straight up. Attacker abort. So we're going to abort his front bomber. And then he rolls. And that is a 10. 10 on the 0 is defender clears through any one. Okay, so he's cleared to attack. Let's see. I think we're just going to abort at this point. Yep. Going to abort. Even the Germans are going to abort. They don't want to press home that. That's just a disaster waiting to happen. So all these planes will go back and be aborted. We'll figure it out later. They're all going to be aborted. He's aborted. He goes back here. He's aborted. He's aborted. Alright. Probably messed that up a little bit, but that's okay. It's fun rolling dice. I think that's the end of the Democrats' turn. I don't really think they want to do anything else. Okay, we'll roll to see if the turn ends, because it can end right now. Mid dice. It will end on a 2. And a 4 doesn't do it. We will move on to the communists. And we will roll weather. Roll weather for the communists. Oh my god. You just can't. Oh, it has a +1 to that. So that's a 2. So that's going to be blizzard, snow, storm, rain, storm, storm. Okay, it's the same weather as last time. Okay. Alright. So I got to figure out what the Russians are going to do. Maybe they can get an attack in somewheres. I doubt it. It's just not enough to, they don't have enough to do it. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, I just finished the Russian movement, and we're going to have a 3-to-1 attack on this hex right here. It's 4-to-1, but it shifts down one column, 3-to-1. It doesn't matter if he's in supply or not. So 3-to-1. It's going to be on the assault table. Well, actually, it's the German's choice. A 1, 2, or 3, he's okay. Anything other than that, he's dead. 3-to-1 on the Blitzkrieg table. A 1 or 2, he's okay. 4, 5. 50%, he's okay on the 3-to-1 on the Blitzkrieg table. 30% chance he's okay on the assault table. So we're going to choose Blitzkrieg. I'm going to roll it on the Blitz table, and because he has no armor. So it's 3-to-1 on the Blitzkrieg. Oh, that's a bad roll. 4. And he actually kills him. It's one of the results that they can actually just kill them and nothing else. So the Soviets succeed in killing a mechanized corps and taking Orel. And there's no... that's going to flip all the Soviet units, though. There's no cadre for that. So the Germans are actually taking a pounding right now. So I'll flip all these. I don't know. Do I want to occupy the hex? Yeah, we will. We'll put the militia in there. Gives the Germans a pain in the butt. All these are flipped over. Oh yeah, I got some guards promotions to do. I forgot. This one and that one. Okay, I'll be back in a second. Okay, so we did get one guards banner promotion. There's none available for the unit types that are in that, the other attack. So I didn't bother with that one. So now we're going to roll to see if the turn ends. I think we need a 3. We need a 3. Russians are good with what's happened so far. A 10 doesn't do it. Now we're on to the fascist turn. Let's see what happens with them. Okay, the fascists, the Germans took a land impulse. They moved a few units on the eastern front. I'll show you. We basically retreated in here, and we retreated from here and here. So yeah, looking good on the eastern front right now. Actually, the Russian counteroffensive has been pretty bloody on the Germans. Alright, so we're going to roll search dice in the Bay of Biscay. Okay, this time we came up with a 8 for the Commonwealth and a tree for the Germans. Now let's see what I think it's a +2. This is snow. So that's going to be a 4. So that's basically right here. And none for them. Don't think there's going to be anything. And actually this guy is aborted. He aborted. So there is nothing here. So yeah, there's not going to be any combat there. And now we got to roll dice for the North Atlantic with a sub action. That's a tree and a tree. So we're definitely going to have something there. I got to just figure it out. Okay, so that mess up there, we do have some sub action that's going to go on. The Germans have 4 surprise points. However, the Commonwealth does have a DE counter there with 1. So he gets to shoot first. 1 sub, 1 ASW against 10 subs. That's going to be 1 abort. So he can abort a sub, and he's going to try and abort. Let's guarantee something. Let's abort this. This is before the sub action actually happens. So that's a 9, so that should be pretty close to just getting aborted. So let's roll for the abort on that. That's a 9, so the Germans have to roll a 10 not to have him aborted. They roll a 5, so he is indeed aborted. So he is going to have to go back to the Milchow, because there's a Milchow here, which the Germans can use that as a port. All right, so that subtracts 2 sub-points. Now we're down to 23 sub-points. We have a total of 15 ASW. We gotta determine how W against. We're gonna move the ASW column down 2. We have 23 sub-points. And they have. Okay, we'll do that. 23 sub-points. We're going to move the ASW down 1 column, I think. As ASW, 10 subs. It's going to be 1 destroyed, 1 damaged. So, the Commonwealth can pick first. I think they just want to get rid of some of these subs. So they're going to pick this one right here. That's the Germans have to roll a 10 not to have that destroyed. And it is sunk. Now there's 1 damaged. The Germans will pick this one. He's going to go to the repair pool. Now they get to roll. Okay, they're going to move their column 1. He's got 13 ships total. That's going to be 3 sunk, 2 damaged. Yep, 3 sunk, 2 damaged. So the first sunk is going to be 3 convoy points. We'll take 3 convoy points. And then they get to choose one. I think the Americans are going to choose the Quincy to see if he gets sunk. Got to roll better than a 6. And they rolled a 3. So the Quincy goes down. And then the Germans, for their next sunk, will pick 3 convoy points. I guess 1 convoy point and 2 tankers. And then for the last, for the next damage, the Commonwealth is going to pick. We'll damage the Enterprise. Take out the American stuff. That's a 6, and it is damaged. And the Germans will pick that to be damaged again. Do Japan a favor if we can sink it. Got to roll better than a 7, I believe, and they don't. And the Enterprise goes down. This has been a bad turn for ships. And that is the end of that. We can try for another round. We'll roll search dice. An 8 and a 4 is not going to do it. There'll be no more combat there. We did hollow out the Commonwealth's convoy points pretty good. And that's turned over right there. Alright, so that's the end of that. I think that's the end of the fascists. Do they want to? Yeah, there was nothing there. So yeah, that's the end of the fascist turn. We'll roll to see if the turn ends. You need a 4. We rolled a 6. Nope. Move on to the Democrats. I think the Democrats just want to get this done. So they're going to say, we're going to pass. And we're going to roll a die and see if the turn ends. And the turn does not end. Or does it? Oh no, it does. They needed a 6. +1 for all of them passing is a 7. That's it for the turn. Okay, I gotta return everything to base, and then we'll come back with the partisan roll and U.S. entry rolls. Okay, let's start off with the partisan. See what we get for partisan roll. A 1. Greece. 6, 5, 4, 3. So Greece is a roll of 3. And they get a partisan. Alright, let me go grab the partisans. Okay, Greece got a 2-2 partisan. That might be a headache for the Axis for a little while. Let's see, France. I gotta figure this out. Let's see, 15. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. 15 minus 13 is 2. So no partisan in France. Central American, Middle East, Manchukuo. Probably not in Manchukuo. That's 2 units in there. Nope, nothing for Manchukuo. And India. Nope, nothing for India. So we got 1 partisan that turn. That's good for the Allies. Good for the Allies, helps out the effort, distracts the fascists. Alright, now we got the U.S. entry. So let me get the table here. Let's see, can you see that? That's a coup table. What am I doing? There we go. War with the Democrats. There's a war with the Democrat table. So we'll start off with Germany. And Germany rolls a big old 4. Oops, sorry about that. So 4, 39. So that's a 6, that's 7, 8. It becomes an 8. That's a +2. +2, which becomes a +1 because of the U.S. Neutrality Act. All right, and then we got Italy. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, Italians, roll a 7. Yeah. 7, 8, 9. They entered the war in 41, so that's going to be a 10. +3, which is going to be a +2. Remember Germany's U.S. entry was a 70. At the end of last term. Japan. Japan rolls a 6. This ought to be pretty funny. 6. Okay, so they got 7, 8 for Germany and Italy. And then it's 8, 9, 40, 41. 41, so that's 4. That's going to be a 12, which is going to be a +4, which is a +3. So U.S. entry for this turn is a total of +6. But however, you should note that the United States is not in the war yet, and we're going to be entering the May-June turn of 1942. So the fascist strategy to try to keep them out of the war as long as possible, it seems to be paying dividends. Okay, so that'll be it. I gotta go do production, and I'll come right back, show you what each of the major powers built. Okay, let's check out production. Production came out something like this. We have Germany producing 50 and starting with 42 and spent 46. Japan produced 25, started with 16, spent 18. Italy produced 15, started with 14 and spent 16. The Soviets produced 28, started with 19 and spent 25. Actually, they started with 20. They had 20, okay, and spent 25. The Commonwealth, they produced 22. And despite all the convoy losses, they're still holding up on their production. Started with 18 and spent 24. The U.S. produced 26, started with 7, spent 13. China produced 4, started with 3 and spent 4. And the Free French produced 4, thanks to Lend-Lease, and started with -9, spent nothing. So I will get these on the circle, and hopefully I get this turn uploaded in a few days. And thanks for watching. Subscribe and like. Appreciate it all, and see you next time.